Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welp, January has come and gone, and like every other YouTuber that makes bookish content, I want to talk about what I read during the month. We've got 3 books to get through, well, technically 2 because one is a DNF, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and let's begin. The first book that I read in January is Siege and Storm. This is the second book in the Grisha trilogy, and following the events of Book 1, the main character, Alina, is on the run trying to live a normal life and learn enough about her power to one day return to Ravka to defeat the Darkling. She's captured by him and brought back into the swing of things, but escapes and must now get ready to fight for herself and her country whether she's ready or not. With new allies, new power, an army of Grisha to lead, and the reputation of a god following her every footstep, Alina must now figure out how to balance power, responsibilities, politics, and her personal life to one day defeat the Darkling and save her country. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like, not a 4, but not exactly a 5 either. Like, just directly in between. So I got this for Christmas and decided to kick off my year by diving back into the world of Grisha. I really wanted to read this one because I heard the new season of Shadow and Bone on Netflix is coming out in March and will follow the events of this book, so I wanted to read it ahead of that. I really liked it. I think objectively this book is stronger than the first one, but I did have more fun with the first, so I gave it a slightly higher rating. The first one. I like the new characters, Tamar, Tolia, and Prince Nikolai. I like all the political stuff with the royal court and the other Grisha struggling to accept Alina as their leader. And I like the new position Alina is put in as not only leader of the Grisha, but also a newfound religious figure with people like praying to her as a god because of her sun summoner powers. I do think there were better ways to show Alina getting stronger with the power of the Sea Serpent Amplifier, like showing new abilities and whatnot, rather than just saying she feels stronger and it's easier to call upon the light now. Like, that I felt like was a little, like not as strong writing as it could have been, but, whatever, it's a small thing. I also don't think Alina and Mal should be endgame. Like, I know in the final book they are inevitably going to get together, but honestly, I think they're just kind of toxic for each other. Like, he's way over jealous of every single guy that even looks her way and can never fully be okay with her being the more important one in the relationship. And she's just so emotionally dependent on him and clings onto him because he's familiar and comfortable. She seriously needs to let herself be single or date other people for once. Regardless, I enjoyed this book and am excited for both the new season of the Netflix show and to read the final book in the trilogy. Next, we have Star Wars Darth Plagueis. This is about, well, Darth Plagueis. A Sith Lord and Palpatine's master, you follow along through the years as he trains Sidious in the ways of the dark side while also trying to learn the secrets to gaining immortality. Obviously, he doesn't succeed, and Sidious eventually overtakes him as Dark Lord of the Sith and finishes the Sith grand plan of destroying the Jedi and taking over the galaxy. It's not a spoiler if it's in the movies. I DNF'd this one. I did not finish it. So I got this for Christmas when I was like 13, because at the time I was new to Star Wars and was obsessed with learning like everything about the old EU because the current canon wasn't exactly as fleshed out as it currently is. So I asked for a lot of the Legends books, and this was one of them. I tried to read it then, but at the time I really didn't have the vocabulary or attention span to be able to understand it, so I put it down and decided, when I was older, I would attempt it again. So now that I'm older and have the vocabulary to understand it, I tried to read it again recently, and yeah, I mean, I can understand it, but it's boring. I'm sorry, I found it very boring, and I never thought I would say that about a book all about Sith with Sidious as one of the main characters. I just wasn't vibing with the author's very slow pacing and like long-winded lore dumps all over the place. Like it was just like paragraph after paragraph, page after page of backstory and lore about planets and places and people and species, and I don't care. I skimmed through the rest of the book to see if there were like more interesting parts. And there were parts that looked quite interesting and looked like what I signed up for, but I just don't have the patience to slog through the slow, boring sections to get to those more interesting parts. Think I'm coming to the realization that I don't really like slow pacing except in like rare circumstances. And like, there's nothing wrong with slow pacing. Like, I'm not saying that this book is bad or anything. It's just like a preference thing. Like, I don't really prefer slow pacing, I'm coming to realize. I prefer more like medium fast paced stories, and this just wasn't one of them. So, like, it's not bad. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it just wasn't for me. And the final book that I read in January was The Ballad of Never After. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. Following the end of the first book, main character Evangeline Fox is faced with new problems, including more curses, more relationship drama, and a quest for magic stones that are said to solve all of her problems. Her prince husband is cursed to murder her. Everyone still wants her to find the magical stones and open the mythical Valor Arch from the last book, and she's finally convinced to do so after hearing it's the only way to break her husband's curse. And she's still attracted to this other guy, Jax, and all of his apple eating demigodness, even though he's really toxic at AF, and literally everybody knows it. It's just fun YA fantasy mess filled with magic and love. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 and added it to my favorites. Stephanie Garber, you will always be a mother to me. I will buy whatever this woman writes because I love her books. Now, the first book in the series was like very cutesy and fluffy, but Ma'am came out to remind us all she can also write a plot with this one. I'm not going to spoil anything because it just came out a few months ago, but I love the world, I love the plot, I love the lore, I love the characters, I love the mess. Evangeline Fox, you are dumb and a pushover, but you are also lovable, and I can't help but root for you every step of the way. I saw on Instagram the other day that the author said writing the third book is a challenge because of this one's ending, and I completely understand it because how do you come back from that ending? She's braver than the Marines because I wouldn't even know where to begin to try to resolve this story after that shocking ending. I mean, I thought the climax was the big twist, and it would have been very sad and sweet if it had been. But then I read the last chapter and audibly gasped because I was not expecting that betrayal or for what happened to Evangeline to happen to her. I still do not support Evangeline and Jax being the end game. That's not a spoiler. We all know it'll happen by the third book. Like, come on now. Because he's just so evil and extremely toxic in like every way possible. And being hot does not make up for that. So I do not support them being endgame, but like, whatever. I'm very excited for the final book in the series, and I am on the edge of my seat wondering what's going to happen and how everything is going to even possibly get resolved now. I'm very excited. Alrighty, so let's discuss what I want to read in February. So, first off, I want to really read Ruin and Rising. This is my top priority for the month because I heard that on Netflix, the new season of Shadow and Bone will adapt not only the second book but also this book, which I completely understand because, like, they're probably afraid of the second season Netflix cancellation curse that's been going on recently. So, so I want to get to this one to read it in anticipation for the new season that is coming out next month. Um, if I have time after reading this one, I think I'm gonna read this one towards the end of the month. It's called Legend by Marie Lu. I got this for my birthday last year. My mother got it for me. I don't really know what it's about. What's it about? Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything. I think it's about like spies in San Francisco or something. I don't really know. But like it's short. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. It's short, so if I have time towards the end of the month to squeeze it in, I will squeeze it in then, but this is my top priority. Other ones that I want to read are my Audible credits. I have Babel, which I still need to get through. It was my January Audible credit, but yeah, I just didn't finish it. I'm currently in a play right now, so it's very long, so I just haven't had time to finish it. But I'm about 3/4 of the way through Babel, and I'm really loving it, so I want to finish that in February. And then for my February Audible credit, I want to read Red, White, and Royal Blue. That looks very interesting. Like it's a romance, Valentine's Day, February. Yeah, real original, I know. But it looks cute, it looks interesting, it's queer, and it's all about like rich people problems. So I love rich people problem stories. Even though I haven't read these yet, ironically. But yeah, those four I want to get to in February. If I don't have time for this one towards the end of the month, I'll just push it off till March. So, it's not like a big deal. But yeah. But that's it from me. Overall, a pretty good month. Let me know what you read in January or what your thoughts on these books are if you've read any of them, because I'm interested in knowing. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. I post videos giving my thoughts on the media I consume, primarily books and shows. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.